Hello everyone, I am Mallikarjun Rao Mudigonda, Technical Marketing Engineering at the Data Center Group. In this video, I'm going to cover about how to use Nexus Data Broker to generate NetFlow from the span and tap traffic. I'm going to touch base upon how to use the NDB UI to configure the NetFlow and push to the NDB boxes, and why even to begin with, why do you need a NetFlow in the first place, and what kind of compliance we have, and how many exporters we can do. I'm going to touch base on, a little bit more on the whole spectrum about the NetFlow in this video. Let us a little bit focus on why do we need NetFlow in the first place, right? What are the different use cases, right? So when we typically have a leaf spine architecture, which is actually kind of a legacy switches, or maybe think about some vendors which are natively not NetFlow capable. So what we can do is we can get the copy traffic from your leaf spine architecture, or in other words, the fabric. We can put a taps and spans on your east-west or north-south traffic and get the copy traffic either through span or tap to the visibility network, which is Nexus Data Broker, and we can ask the NDB to generate the net flow for you from the copy traffic. And the other use case is maybe you don't want to overload your fabric, maybe ACI fabric or maybe VXLAN EVPN fabric. You don't want to overload it, or maybe you want to put this net flow generation, the visibility and the observability portion in a kind of a segmented way, that you want to put this functionality into a different fabric, which is your visibility or observability fabric. That's one of the reasons why do we generate the net flow from the copy traffic, right? So what are the typical reasons why customer do NetFlow? To identify who are the top talkers and to identify what are the applications that are utilizing your fabric and at what ratios, right? And if you want to do some flow-based analytics, right? So you get a blend of both. You get a packet-based analysis and flow-based analysis at the same time from the visibility fabric, right? And you also need basically there are two things that you might want to do at the same time, right? You generate the net flow from the copy traffic and send it to your net flow collectors to do analysis of your east, west, or north, south traffic from net flow point of view. And the other set of requirements is you want to do a packet analysis and send to some APM and NPM tools or some application performance tools at a packet level, right? So both can be fit in the same NDB fabric. A little bit information on what kind of net flow we do, right? The net flow that is generated on the NDB box is unsampled net flow, and it's V9 compliant. It's industry standard V9 compliant, and it's generated in the hardware. It's not software. It's not bound to any of the capacities and whatnot. And the typical collectors we can use the Cisco Stealth Watch, or it can be any third-party NF collectors. Because it's a V9 compliant, it's okay to use any collectors as well. And the NF records can be easily read on the Wireshark as well. And that depends on the switch that you select. In the whole data center portfolio, we got a wide variety of switch with different speeds and different capabilities and with different slices. On an average, you can think about, each slice, you get a flow table size, like 32 entries, right? And depends on the switch what you use. And let's take a little bit look on how do we configure it. First you log into the NDB controller, and you're going to globally enable the feature NetFlow on each box, right? Wherever you want to generate. So you're going to do the configuration, and you go to configure node, and all the way to the bottom you say configure NetFlow. It's going to turn on the NetFlow feature on the rest. And the second thing what we do is, once after turning on the net flow, we're going to add record. Now the requirement comes like, we want to generate the L2 records, or we want to generate the L3 records. If yes, we want to generate what parameters on those packets, right? It's mutually exclusive. Once you get the copy traffic, either you can generate a L2 net flow or you can generate layer 3 net flow. In the example what I'm showing here, we are collecting L3, the tuple information like IP, L3, L4, which is TCP, UDP, source address, destination address, and the task bits and whatnot. So we're going to generate the record, right? And once you get that copy traffic, what are you going to do? The collect parameters. The collect parameters can be like, the counter bytes or the uptime, various varieties. So with this, what we did was we added the record, right? And then we're going to select the exporters. Each NDB box is capable of talking to two collectors, two NetFlow collectors. And so here we are going to say, what is your exporter NetFlow, which means, the IP address of the NetFlow collector. In this case, the IP address of the NetFlow collector is what given. And so the interface that we need to pick up to talk to the collector, there are two ways to look into this. Either we can use a front panel port to talk to the collector, or you can use the management interface MGMT0 to talk to the NetFlow collector. If you think the next hops are going to do a QoS treatment, so we can apply the DSCP parameters accordingly as well, so that the packets are treated properly on the next hop, which is adjacent to the NDB switch. And right now on the NDB UI, you have a flexibility to choose only the front panel port, but however, you can manually change it to the management interface to export the records. So now, once after you tell what is a record and you tell what is an exporter, now we are going to combine both of them together, called a NetFlow monitor, right? So in this screen, we're going to show how to add a monitor. So here, my monitor, and I'm going to point to my record and the exporter, what I configured on my previous screens. And so next comes, once the copy traffic is coming on the HSPAN port, which is the port which is actually receiving the span traffic or a tap traffic on the NDB box, we are going to slap a Q-in-Q interface, which is a mandatory thing, and we're going to associate the NetFlow monitor that we did so far, right? So now every traffic that comes on the copy traffic coming on a front panel port, now based on the monitor parameters, what records we configured and how many exporters we have to send, we can send it to two exporters. We can the record and the monitor and everything put together, now it's called a monitor, right? The exporter information and the record information is put together into monitor. We are going to associate that monitor on the front panel port. Now the NetFlow records are generated and exported to the NetFlow collector. So let's take a quick look at how this looks behind the screens on the switch. The record information is here, the export information is here, and the monitor configs are here, and the VLAN configs what we did are here, right? And when it comes to the exporter, by default on the NDB UI, we have a flexibility to choose the front panel port, but we can manually go ahead and edit that to the management interface as well. And this is how the configuration looks on the switch. The HSPAN port, that's where the copy traffic is coming on. And here is the interface, L3 interface, because the front panel port to talk to the NetFlow collector, it has to be an L3 port with an IP address on it. And on top of it, we need an IP route based on your network topology. Either we can do a static route or any IP route, and then install a route for the NDB box to reach to the NetFlow collectors. So here is how the NetFlow packet is going to look like. The destination port 9995 is the default NetFlow destination. And inside the package, as you can see, it's a V9 compliant NetFlow or IP fix, which is version V9. And all the information, the record information that we asked is now collected here. And all this information is now ingested into the NetFlow collectors. Thank you for your time.